and welcome back to a new video. My name is Jade Shinyu and I help people reclaim back their power physically, mentally and spiritually, and also expose some dark truths. And today that's what this video is going to be about. Basically exposing Sam Smith, his Satanic Ritual at the Grammys that he done recently, his big appearance change, why he's now identifying as non-binary and acting all satanic and demonic and all that shit. And yeah, basically celebrities selling their souls. Something that has actually been going on for a very, very long time. And if you're, an old school conspiracy theorist, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. This shit has been going on for a very, very long time. However, that being said, now they are putting it straight in your face, because nowadays people are more desensitized to anything that looks demonic, satanic, etc. People have been brainwashed into thinking that it's, just artistic expression or rebellion against Christianity, when in fact it's not. They are literally all part of the same cults. What people need to know about Hollywood, musicians, even people in politics, government, etc., government officials, and then the people above them, especially, that you don't know about, they're all part of the same elite cabal, cult, whatever you want to call them, the dark elite rulers of this world, of this matrix, the New World Order. So the Illuminati, which is what the celebrities are all a part of, Freemasons, etc. But with anything, there's different hierarchies, there's different levels to this cult. So celebrities, believe it or not, are actually quite low down. There's many people above them. Because celebrities are literally just puppets that are being used to brainwash the masses. They use them to basically get people like yourself to do what they want. So they'll literally make these celebrities completely sell their souls for money, for fame, in exchange to do exactly as they are told to do. And this is why you'll see certain celebrities, if they go against this cabal, if they go against what their rulers tell them to do, they'll be killed, murdered, their whole reputation will be destroyed. They'll get basically things taken away from them, or they'll even indoctrinate them even further using certain methods that I can't really go into here. If you want to know more where I can talk uncensored, then please sign up to my Patreon, where I will be doing a part 2 of this video. Going deeper into the actual rituals and ceremony that they themselves have to do in order to become a part of the Illuminati, to become a part of their cult. But I can tell you some things now. So with Sam Smith, yes, it was a ritual. So with any award ceremony like the Grammys and all this bollocks, even with their own personal concerts, etc., most of them are rituals. I mean, there is a reason why they all seem to look like hell. They all have that vibe. They all have a very dark, demonic, hellish sort of vibe. Red is heavily used. They always dress in the color red. And the reason why they always dress in the color red is because red is the color of the root chakra. And the root chakra is all to do with survival, the ego, sexuality. But with them, they invert it, because whenever, with Satanism, always remember this, they invert everything. Everything is backwards. So they are the inversion of lights. So with love, they are lust. So this is why they glamorize everything that is sinful. And this is exactly what they're using, and natural, by the way. So with nature, they invert it. This is why we're seeing a massive surge in the whole trans, non-binary movement. And again, this is no hate to anyone who identifies as that, but there is a negative agenda behind it all. And this is why it's heavily being enforced onto everyone, which in reality is only a small minority of people who even have this disorder. So that in itself says everything. Anything that is heavily pushed by the mainstream always has a dark agenda behind it, always. So with these Grammy Awards and these concerts, etc., they use them as an opportunity to basically put a hex on your subconscious minds. which is what they always do with all celebrities, most music. I done a video on this about a year or so ago about how music is used to brainwash you. It puts a hex on your mind, on your body, on everything, your whole vibration, because everything is energy. Everything is frequency, everything is vibration, like Nikola Tesla said. And you really need to understand this, to understand Satanism, to understand witchcraft, the occult, how they use symbology, music, frequencies to make you basically have a hex over your whole mind, body and spirit. To basically pull your soul, your energetic body, your aura, into a very low vibration, to basically have it stuck at the roots, because you have 7 chakras, remember, but they only want you to have one open, which makes you very ungrounded. You know, if you're closed off, the higher chakras, if your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, these are all shut down, and you're only operating on the lower chakras, which is what they enforce, what they push. You'll become extremely egotistical, narcissistic, depressed, anxious. You're only operating on a low vibration. And this is what Satanism is all about, because they want you to stay stuck there. They don't want you to rise above that at all. So it's basically a way to make you trapped, to make you sell your soul, essentially. Because that's what it's all about. Because when you consent and you enjoy watching people like Sam Smith, you're listening to his music, you're letting all them subliminal messages, the lyrics, the music frequency enter your brain, you're essentially brainwashing yourself with whatever messages that he's putting into his music, what they are putting into the music. Because remember, it's not just, oh, Sam Smith writing these songs. He probably didn't even write it. Most of them don't. It's always, he's just a puppet who basically willingly said, yeah, I'll do this. You know, he's basically initiated himself to go up a level. Because remember, even Lucifer was the angel of music. And these people are Luciferian Satanists. So basically, genuine Satanism is all about worshipping, you know, themselves as gods. It's basically the full-on narcissistic religion. It really is. And it does everything that's as taboo as possible. So because they have such a deep hatred towards God, as Lucifer did, and remember, I'm not even Christian, by the way, I just know my shit. And you know, there is, of course, Christianity has been corrupted, but I'll get to that in another video, because that's a whole other topic. But it's only because, again, satanic dark energy had corrupted it in the first place. As with all religions, they've all been corrupted, again, to keep you blind, to keep you trapped in a lower frequency by man and demonic energy. So, you know, with Lucifer, he hates God. He has a deep hatred because he wanted to be a god. He thought he could do it better. He didn't want to be ruled by another creator. So, you know, this is where he was also, you know, associated with the sin of pride. Again, narcissism. So this is what he pushes onto all people in this matrix. This is what, you know, the demiurge is pushing. To make people worship themselves as God, you know, to be disconnected from source. Because that's all it really is it's disconnecting you from source, from everything, from even the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's making you just be very, very, you know, on your own as an individual, when really we're all one. But it's basically causes a separation. And this is why you'll see with, you know, the New World Order, with their agenda, they do everything to create division. They do everything. You know, this is why we're seeing racial wars, you know, the Black Lives Matter. Again, that's an agenda to create division, to make people, black people, hate white people and vice versa, to create wars, when in reality, skin color doesn't mean shit. We're all the same. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. You know, pointing that out and treating people a certain way on their skin color, whether they're white, black, brown, that is racism. So again, they make everything backwards. They've made people who think they're fighting against racism racist. And this is why, you know, the whole woke movement is backwards. It's something disguised as being compassionate and inclusive and loving. But in reality, these people go around judging, hating, attacking, you know, and about making people, you know, demanding that people respect them when they do nothing to deserve respect. They do nothing but have this hateful, bitter energy. It's not loving at all. Even with pronouns. Pronouns are extremely narcissistic. Pronouns didn't exist a few years ago. So, you know, for someone to demand, oh, you must call me by this, just because they decided that they want to be called a certain thing, it's very narcissistic to do that. Like, because in reality, what fucking difference does it make? It really does not matter. And again, I can't get into this too much, but if you want to learn more about the woke agenda and the truth behind it, then please sign up to my Patreon, because I've done a very long video on that. I'll link it down in the description box as always. But with people like Sam Smith, these celebrities, so like I've said, they sell their souls. So there's different levels to, you know, the cults. And they have to go through certain things. And one of them is actually a humiliation ritual, which is what he's going through right now. So this is why he's basically done things that really are humiliating. You know, a straight man, which he used to be, dressing up as a woman is something that they always make them do. They always make straight men, especially men of color as well, by the way, so black men in particular, especially movies, Hollywood films, they would always force them to wear dresses. They would always force them to dress up as women to prove themselves. So this is one of the things that they have to go through. It's called a humiliation ritual. And I can't speak more about that, but there's worse things that they actually put them through as well. But I'll have to save that for Patreon, as I won't be able to say this on here. But the humiliation thing is one of the things that they have to do, because again, it's all about backwards. They like to swap genders. They like to invert things because it's not natural. In nature, we don't see that. And I know this will trigger a hell of a lot of people. And again, this is nothing, no hate against trans or gay or whatever, you know, people. But it's all about inversion. It's all about making things unnatural, backwards, you know, light to dark. So one of the satanic tenets is actually to eradicate gender altogether. This is one of the tenets. There's 4. And the first one is to serve themselves. But another one is about eradicating gender. So this is why they're, again, promoting and pushing Sam Smith as now having a new identity of being non-binary. Because really, non-binary is having no gender, which goes against truth. Because everyone has a gender. It doesn't matter what you want to identify as. You are a biological woman or a man, depending on what you were born with. So, you know, they're trying to gaslight people into believing and brainwashing people into believing their version of reality, because they don't want there to be genders, because when there's no genders, there's no divine masculine, there's no divine feminine. Everyone becomes confused, everyone becomes distorted and overly sexualized, because like we see with Sam Smith, you know, why is it that we see, especially with non-binary and, you know, the LGBTQ community in general, everything is extremely sexualized, especially with Sam Smith. Like in his new video, he's basically imitating him getting, you know, having sexual things squirted onto him. Like, it's so vulgar, it's so disgusting. It's like, how can people see that and think, oh, that's brave? Like, it's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It's nothing but disgusting. And luckily there has been a huge backlash against it. Like, there is nothing brave or inspirational about a man putting on weight, wearing nipple tassels and getting squirted on, like mimicking sexual acts in a music video where children are clearly going to watch that. Like, because children watch these people, and this is why they overly sexualize it. So I actually done a video on, again, on my Patreon about dark sex magic. And in that video, I explain why they use sex as a weapon, because again, it goes hand in hand heavily with satanic ritual, worship, ceremonies. Again, because they invert sex. Sex is sacred and they invert it. They make it perverted, lustful, sinful. Even with his song, Unholy, it's all about a married man with children having an affair, cheating on his wife. Like, that is what that whole song is about. So they're basically brainwashing people to do that sort of thing. And it's worked, because when you look at relationships nowadays, there's never been a time in history where adultery is at its highest. Relationships are fucked nowadays. Like, there are so many unsatisfied, broken-hearted men and women who get their hearts broken because their partners constantly cheat on them, or people date multiple people at the same time. And that energy is all about lust. It's all about perversion. It's all about porn addiction, sex addiction. You know, it's an addictive thing. It's all about pleasure. And not to demonize pleasure entirely. Like, of course, you can have pleasurable sex with someone that you love, but there's a fine line between, you know, overindulging in very low vibrational pleasures and desires, and, you know, experiencing and allowing yourself to have, you know, high vibrational pleasure that will serve you, not drain you. Because there's two types of pleasure in the world. One that serves you, one that drains you. The one that drains you is what Sam Smith and all these celebrities promote. It's all about lust, sin, you know, partying, again, drinking alcohol, having a, you know, YOLO fucking mindset. You know, you only live once, do drugs, do alcohol, do all this shit. When all of that is to drain you. All of that is you giving consent to selling your soul, because that's what they want. Because selling your soul is basically you having the consciousness of a demonic entity. Because what does a demonic entity want? It wants to inflict pain, suffering, which you do when you're in that mindset. It wants to consume. It wants to overindulge in low vibrational activities. So, you know, sex, drugs, porn, even gossiping, even hating people, being narcissistic, being, you know, attacking people, judging people. You know, like so many woke people do nowadays. They spend most of their time attacking and trying to cancel other people over the most petty, small things. You know, it's insane. It's like, you know, living in a mental asylum is what it feels like. And when you see how much now Satanism is glamorized, especially in mainstream music, you know, it is everywhere. You know, Doja Cat's another one who's extremely turned recently. I mean, she is definitely just gone now. The two worst ones, believe it or not, are actually Beyonce and Jay-Z. There's a reason why they're called the King and Queen, because they have been at the top in the Illuminati for a very long time. That's why they're always, you know, being sucked up to. So another heavy one, Lady Gaga. You know, there's quite a few. Harry Styles is another one. All of them, pretty much, all the ones who are at the top, you know, the mainstream poppy type people, they're all deep within it. But Sam Smith is a new addition. And another thing to say on him is the only reason, I think that the trigger, the catalyst as to why he gave himself was because he was actually losing a lot of money. He actually was sued over, I think, his two top ranking songs that were making the most money, and then ultimately lost the royalties to them. So he was no longer making money from his top ranking music. So obviously, you know, what do you do when you're a celebrity in the music industry, you know, who's desperate, losing their money, who's kind of gone off the radar? Because, you know, he kind of disappears for a while before he suddenly emerged, a non-binary, you know, satanic worshipper. Of course, you know, he would choose to do that to make money and obviously to get in there, you know. But what normally happens with these celebrities is they realize that they've sold their soul for a very crappy deal, like Kanye West used to always say. Another one who tried to warn people disappears for a few months and now has re-emerged looking very different and shopping in Balenciaga with a random new wife who is obviously a handler. And that's another thing I'll get into on Patreon. So obviously he is either been replaced or MK Ultras. Like, he actually exposed his personal trainer was threatening him with, and he showed the text messages to prove it. So that basically is when they completely alter their minds, their subconscious, to take on an avatar, an ego that they want them to have. Which he actually warns people about. He said, if I go missing after basically saying all these truths, and then I come back, it's not me. And that is evident, because this new Kanye West even looks taller, he doesn't sound the same, and he's shopping in Balenciaga. Like, how much more obvious can it get? So, you know, it's so in your face now. Like, you really have to be completely asleep to not notice how demonic and satanic Hollywood and the whole music industry is. How these celebrities are nothing more than puppets who have sold their souls, sorry. So do not listen to their music, because a lot of their music, when played backwards, is actually satanic spells that you're putting straight into your brain. So, you know, especially with people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, you know, pop music is actually the worst, believe it or not, because they have very, very dark subliminal messaging within them. But it's just obvious when you see all these celebrities now, all their music videos, all their live performances, they're all so demonic, so satanic. And people like myself who have been researching this shit and known about this shit since I was literally like the age of like 16 years ago, I've seen it progress, and it's got worse and worse and worse and worse. And basically they've now shown people more and more and more and more to avoid karma, who they are, what they're doing, and it's like right in your face. And this is because they're tricking you into giving consent, and your consent is an energetic thing. So if you're giving consent by liking these people, by listening to their music, by worshipping them, by agreeing with them, then you're basically, your consciousness has been taken. Your soul is like on the verge of being taken. So this is why it's extremely imperative to not fall for their tricks, fall for their lies. And it's kind of laughable how like obvious they now are, because they're getting desperate. Because the only silver lining to this whole situation is that their time is coming to an end, and they know that. And this is why they're no longer sneaky or manipulative or kind of hides their agenda or even try to deny it. It's because now they're desperate to get souls. They're desperate to, to basically try hold on to what little power they have left, because they know their time is coming to an end. So they're trying, basically they know their ship is going to sink. And they're going to try and take down as many people as they can with them out of bitterness. We are living in a spiritual warfare. There's no light way to put it, like I've said in my other videos. So you can either stay in the light or you can sink with them. This is why since 2020 in particular, they have been enforcing and pushing and act so draconian, forcing people to get the you-know-what, which I will be doing a video on very shortly, as so much has come out about that. Again, like I tried to warn you, but, and many other people try to warn you, which now they have the audacity to say, to try and blame us for. Oh, the people who knew that the you-know-what is dangerous, why didn't you do more to, you know, try to save us? Why didn't you tell us more? Why didn't you do more to raise awareness? It's like, yes, we fucking did. Like, there was actually a story, an article that was released recently saying that. So it's like, we fucking tried, but you called us murderous conspiracy theorists. But everything us so-called conspiracy theorists has come true. So listen to me, trust me when I say this about all these people. It's a very, very dark agenda. So do not trust them. Do not listen to their music. Do not fall for the whole woke agenda, woke movement. Do not go down that path, because it's a very dark satanic one. It links to many dark things involving children, like I've said in other videos, because this is ultimately where it's going towards, where it is you know, on. And this is why they heavily sexualize these celebrities, because they know children watch them. It's getting in their heads, again, as a way to give consent, to drain their energy. So, you know, it's extremely disgusting. It's very, very vile. But like I said earlier, if you want to learn exactly what process that they have to do to become a part of this cult and the darker truths that are involved, which I cannot say on YouTube as it's way too dark, I will definitely get banned. So go over to my Patreon and you can see the part 2 to this video of how celebrities sell their soul to, yeah, Satan, Lucifer, etc. And yeah, it's much, much more complicated than people think. It's not just people in cloaks worshipping the devil. It goes way, way deeper than that. And it's just hilarious how, of course, straight after Sam Smith's performance, they put a Pfizer adverts straight after his performance, advertising you to get the you know what. It's like living in a Black Mirror episode. It's like, you can't write this shit, like you can't make this shit up. Like, if people can literally watch that and not connect the dots, it's like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I seriously do not know what more I can say. Like, if you can't see that, then you need to seriously stop drinking fluorides, stop drinking tap water, and you know, step away from the TV. Go out in nature, go have a walk, and have a real, you know, think, and try to put the dots, you know, together. With that being said, I do offer one-to-one oracle readings and energy healing services for people who are wanting that service, who need more help with any problems, etc. Then please click the link in the description box down below as always, and I'll be very happy to help you. I am actually having a Valentine's February sale on all my services, so £20 off all of them. So do take advantage of that, and it doesn't have to be on relationships. It can be on pretty much anything that you need help with. So even if you have an entity attachment, if you feel like you've been cursed, if you feel like you may be under the influence of black magic, you know, any sort of things like that, I also help people with quite a lot. To be fair, it's more common than you think. So that being said, my loves, I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss my future uploads. I'm sending you lots of love, lots of light. Ahimsa.